Hi everybody, welcome to the DM U&I. Today I am joined by Pete Whipp, who is our new Managing Director at Dalcour Maclaren. And listen on and hear all about Pete, where he's from and why he's here. Welcome Pete to the U&I Den.
Thank you.
You're a pro at this, I've heard.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out, won't we, in the next 20 minutes?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm a real pro. Anyway, so today is all about you and DM. We've exciting this year. You've joined us.
Yeah.
So, first of all, simple question. Yeah. Who are you and where have you come from?
It's really great to be here. And over the last 4 weeks that I've been here, it's been like an amazing start to my career at DM. So I am Pete Whipp. I've been an environmental consultant for just over 20 years. The first big series of projects that I was involved in were mostly highways work. I did a load of park and ride projects. So supporting the planning application by completing the environmental impact assessments and coordinating all of the environmental surveys that were needed. I moved to a company called RSK 15 years ago. I've been working a lot on infrastructure, grid infrastructure, so transmission distribution networks. I've been working on oil and gas pipelines. I've been working on HS2, as everybody has, I think, in our industry. Crossrail was a big project that I was involved in, and then progressed up to a position of being an ops director in the environment and planning team at RSK, which consisted of about 1,400 people, with all of the specialist environmental services that you need to deliver any big project. At the turn of the year, I decided the time was right to move to DM. I've come in as the managing director. And then the last 4 weeks have been a real baptism of fire, learning the systems and the ways of doing things. And it's a really exciting opportunity.
Why move? Why DM?
Yeah. So I'd been at RSK for 15 years. It's a big stint of time. I joined RSK as a senior consultant and I left as an ops director of one of the biggest teams. Last year, RSK were identified as one of the biggest environmental consultants in the UK, and I really oversaw that growth. There was a significant amount of growth that happened, and I was really involved in helping to realise that, to bring different teams together, to make sure we were working harmoniously as one team. But I kind of got to the point where I'd done that, and that was great, and I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot, and there was a lot of experience. But the opportunity at DM was a different one. It was my ability, or it was giving me the opportunity to take all of the lessons I'd learned over the last 15 years at RSK, growing a really big team, high-performing team, and coming into DM at a more senior level at a period of its evolution where there is a significant amount of opportunity on the horizon and hopefully a significant amount of growth that we're going to realise. There's lessons that I learned from RSK that were good ways of doing things and bad ways of doing things, and I hope that I'll be able to bring some of that into DM. I also think that the culture at DM is different. It's inclusive culture. There's a lot of conversations about the one team that DM has. Everybody trying to drive for the same purpose. Everybody working together. Everyone's got each other's back, and I think that's a really exciting place to be, and it's going to be a really exciting journey over the next few years.
Where do you see the opportunities?
I've known about Dalcour Maclaren for years, but my impression of DM is very much as a surveying business. Obviously, it's the foundation of the business. It's where the business started. It will always be a really important core service that's been provided by DM. And the more I dug into the detail, actually, the more I realised that DM does more than just land surveying, and there is an environment and planning team, and there's a big geomatics team, and there's a stakeholder engagement capability that's growing. And I think that's kind of one of the big opportunities is to not reinvent ourselves, but make sure that people understand us in the market as a provider of multidisciplinary consulting services supporting the utilities and infrastructure markets. Solving problems for our clients, helping them get planning permission, helping them manage their portfolios, helping them manage their assets. That's what we want to be known as. We want to try and change the dial in terms of how people see us in the marketplace. We will always be one of the biggest land surveying companies in utilities and infrastructure in the UK. I think that's a real imperative. But there is a great opportunity to grow our environment and planning team, and really provide more survey works. So whether that's ecology, whether that's archaeology, whether that's landscape design, all of that kind of stuff, to the clients that we currently work with, our core clients that are really important to us. So I see that as one of the great opportunities, and I hope that my experience in environment and planning will really help to galvanise that. I've been in an organisation where I was looking after a bigger team, 1,400 people. I don't think it will be too long until DM is at 1,400 people, and if we follow our 5-year strategy, we'll be bigger than that. And so, making sure we have the right people in the right jobs, we have the very technical experts that our clients really need us to have in the right positions, client-facing, delivering solutions for our clients is really important. And having really good people leaders in the business that are able to inspire, drive teams to be high-performing, deliver efficiently. We need all of those people, and also people that are good at winning work, business development, going out and meeting new clients to bring into our network. So I think, I hope that I'll be able to bring a bit of that knowledge of the environment and planning, a bit of knowledge of leading bigger teams and helping manage those teams in an efficient way.
And then the challenges, that is all, absolutely direction of travel we want. Right person, right job. Right person is the key for us. Where do you see the challenges looking ahead?
Yeah, I think we're in a challenging recruitment market in some places. I think the impact of COVID and how that, maybe didn't bring people, or people didn't go to university, or people had a slightly different university experience. And therefore, I don't think we've got the kind of senior level, mid-level experts that we need. So, how we deal with the resourcing challenge, I think, is going to be quite important over the next few years. I know that we do a great apprenticeship programs. We bring in a lot of apprentices at DM, and I think that's really great in terms of feeding the next 5 years, 10 years worth of experts. But there are definitely roles that we have in the business that are hard to fill, and making sure that we are being seen as a really good place to work, as a really fun place to work, as a place that really gives people access to great career progression, that gives them access to the biggest projects, the most exciting projects. We need to be seen as that kind of employer of choice, I think, for staff.
And we've set ourselves, in certainly the 5-year strategy, a really high score in terms of where we want to try and get to with our people agenda. The way of solving the recruitment problem is actually just make yourself a business that people want to come to. And you will then attract the best quality people in. And I think, that for me, what's really encouraging that I see is, yes, we do a lot of investment in our young people. I'm afraid you are quite old, Pete. The average age of this business is something like 35. But we do that because we want to invest in the young generation. It keeps the business young. We get some fantastic ideas coming from graduates and apprentices, which we can utilise going forward. What really encourages me is actually of the number of people who come back. Sometimes you do your 4 or 5 years. You want to go and see what the grass is greener, go and see that. But then they come back again. And actually, you've then got a really strong individual who's experienced life outside, decided actually it isn't quite what they thought it was going to be. But they've gained that experience, and it's a real positive. We talked about DM in terms of the opportunities and the challenges. We're in a weird world. What I'm seeing this year is, I think a lot of businesses is that there are external impacts on our clients and us, caused by policy and bits and pieces that are making a real difference to the way we are actually doing our work. I'd be interested in your view in terms of, from a consultancy perspective, of where do you see those challenges ahead for DM and our clients?
Obviously, the Labour Party came in a couple of years ago now, and the manifesto that they put forward was very much about getting Britain building and building the infrastructure. We've still got net zero targets that we're trying to deliver, and they've spent a bit of time probably not providing much clarity on things, which probably hasn't been that helpful. However, I think some of that clarity is coming. So we've got the planning and infrastructure bill that was passed in December last year that sets a bit of a framework. We really need to see how that's going to evolve in how we should manage stakeholder communications on big projects. How DCO projects are going to be run. It provides a little bit of support on this nature recovery fund, which I think people are still trying to get their head around exactly how it's going to work. But we've obviously got biodiversity net gain, which is something that came in previously. So there are now there is more guidance on some of the policy changes that are going to steer the way that we have to provide solutions for our clients. So I think that's kind of helpful in terms of providing that support. I think the other big disruption that our industry has had, particularly in renewable energy generation, is the NESO program that's going on and allocating grid connections. And we've known for years that the grid connections across the UK are, or the infrastructure, transmission and distribution infrastructure across the UK isn't right for a renewable ready future UK. And there is a whole load of work that has been done and is being done to rectify some of that. And we're right in the middle of that. And I think our position supporting some of the transmission authorities, the DNOs, and really trying to help them to navigate what they need to do really quickly will then help unlock more of the renewable energy opportunities that are available. So I think there's a policy thing that's changing the way that we work in the consultancy market. I think there's a bit more of an organisation that is happening around the market, and then obviously water's a big part of what we do. So water companies are under a lot of pressure, I think, to make sure there is security of supply, to make sure there's a reduction in pollution in the press all the time, looking at how we can reduce pollution. And again, that's something that DM are really well positioned to help with. So I think your question was about how the consultancy market's changing. I think the industries that we work in are changing, and we need to be nimble and adapt with that. I think the other thing, which is slight deviation on the question, but we need to embrace how technology is going to change how we work as consultants, and things like AI, how AI can analyze and interpret data for us. A lot of what we do is collecting big amounts of data, whether that's land registry information, whether that's ecology survey information, whether that's archaeology, whatever it is. It's a lot of data on some of these big projects. And if we can process that data quickly, efficiently, more accurately, if we can use that to make decisions in a faster, better way, then that is going to separate us from everyone. And I think that is also going to mean that our clients are really keen to use us and the innovations that we're developing as a business. So I think the next 5 years is going to be different from a consultancy position.
I would agree, and it's I think life always moves on, doesn't it? And there's change. But I think the change for me is getting faster and faster. I like that. Kind of ticks my boxes. And I think your innovation point is really good. I think hopefully you've come into DM and seen that actually, oh my God, they are investing in it. We've got a massive team of people who are focused entirely on innovation. And our challenge very much is that if we don't use that wisely and don't use it properly, we won't be here. We will be a failing business with no intention of being failing. So I totally agree with you. I think if we want to achieve kind of some of the growth targets and aspirational kind of clients we want to work for, we've got to get that innovation bit absolutely bang on. Which is exciting.
I agree.
And I think it is absolutely different world. And I think consultancy is really bad at taking it up. I think generally consultants like to think they know better. But actually, there is so much efficiency that can be brought from this, and added value that can be brought from this technology, and that's what we're really focused on.
I agree.
So, in terms of then the world of utilities and infrastructure, that's our main focus. You talked about water. And I think that's exciting in terms of we've got probably the busiest AMP
Ever.
once they get going.
Yeah.
But the busiest dam that we've ever seen, and I think
Yeah.
we're beginning to see that this year. So they're getting going. We've got some of the energy. We've got, like you talked about, networks expanding massively. Really exciting and comforting almost to see grids plan for the transmission network. We're not even at the start of it really. We're just kicking off.
Yeah.
And there is till 2050. They've got some really massive plans of what they need to do. I don't think probably people have woken up to see exactly what it is. I'm afraid they probably will because they'll see it happening.
Yeah.
But that's got to happen. I think for me, it's interesting of what else might happen.
Yeah.
So we're quite involved with transport infrastructure. So we're involved with obviously HS2, and you've been involved with that before.
Yeah.
We're involved with something else called HS2 Mark 3, 4, whatever it is, Northern Link Powerhouse, which may or may not happen in X years' time.
Yeah.
There's East West Rail again, which is something that's quite exciting. There's even air in terms of we've been involved with Gatwick. Heathrow is beginning to warm up. Well, warm up's probably an understatement. But there's lots happening. My view at DM is we are in this niche area. I was explaining it like a bus station. Is we need to be ready to get on the bus at the beginning of the journey rather than join it halfway down the tracks. Yeah. How do you think we can make sure we're really prepared to get there early enough to make sure we're on that bus?
I think timing's really important. Another one that you didn't mention in that, but I think is going to be really interesting is hydrogen. Mm-hmm. So I think we have had a little bit of the market is interested in hydrogen and how hydrogen is going to have a role in delivering the net zero targets, particularly for fueling industry. And there's Project Union, which is a big, huge project to develop a hydrogen backbone across the UK. They are in their infancy, I think. And so your question, how do you know that that's the right horse to back? I guess we need to be aware of all of these markets. We need to understand what they need, how we can support them. A linear project is a linear project, whether it's a road, a railway, a transmission line, a pipeline, carbon capture and storage, hydrogen. Like they are the similarities from the work that we do. There's huge similarities, and there's really big lessons that industries can learn from each other. There's slight differences, there's terminology, there's acronyms, there's all of those types of things. But I think understanding that all of the value that we can bring from linear infrastructure and how that works can really help. We need to be horizon scanning. We need to understand where the markets are going to be, what are going to be the key priorities over the next few years, so that we can position ourselves to be a deliverer of services or provider of services to those clients. But we need to also make sure that we don't neglect the core part of the business that we're involved in, because networks will, like you said, continue to be busy. The UK will be continuing to build overhead power lines, underground electric cables, grid connections, transmission lines, all sorts for the foreseeable future. And we can still be innovative in how we deliver those projects, whilst also keeping an eye on things like data centres and carbon capture and storage and hydrogen and all of those initiatives as well.
Drone taxis, all those kind of things.
Drone
taxis. I mean, I think in terms of where I'm sitting here looking at our market ahead of it, it's a niche area that is really exciting to be in. You've got to be in it to understand it, but it's a really exciting area. Right, we're kind of running out of time. So just to finish off, I don't need all your hobbies, right? But who is Pete in terms of not at work? What is it what other exciting things do you do apart from manage people?
So I've got 2 kids. They keep me busy, and I've become a bit of a Lego master because of having 2 kids. So it's I've got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. So they're keeping me busy doing all sorts of stuff, taking them all over the place. I'm a football fan, so
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. So at the moment, all is good. Things are looking
ball, sorry.
things are looking positive for us at the moment, but we'll see. I've probably jinxed it now, so
Yes.
that
You're at
it
the
won't-
top, aren't you?
we're top of the league,
Yes.
yeah, and in all the cup competitions. So
This will date the podcast.
yeah, it will date the podcast, yeah. But well, hopefully we'll be top for the foreseeable. Who knows? So I like to watch football. I like to go. I'm into sports and
You
keeping
failed to
fit.
mention your petrol headness as well. That you actually have a little run around that you.
Yeah, I do like. I've got an old 25-year-old track car that we go and we take around to various tracks across the UK. Been to Spa and Nürburgring and Zandvoort and various places in Europe as well. So that's a small hobby that me and one of my friends have. So yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, particularly being in the new job, work has been quite a big focus for the last month, and I envisage it will be quite a big focus moving forwards. But I think making sure you've got that right work-life balance is really important, because if you're not, if you don't have that balance right, then you're not going to be able to put your work in. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So thanks, Pete, for coming along today. It's great to have you at DM. I'm really excited about what you bring here and the exciting plans that we've got ahead. And as I said, warned you before this, I'll have you back again, probably 6 months' time for an update. Thanks, Pete.